Good morning, everybody. Mr. Kennedy here. Today, we're going to be learning how to draw a horse.
All right, my friends. So to get started today with drawing a horse, first thing you might notice is my paper is landscape style, which means it's going the long way. It's not going up and down, it's going from side to side. And so to start my horse, over here on the left-hand side of my paper, I'm going to start with a nice big circle. And don't worry about getting this circle perfectly round. You'll notice my circle is not. Eventually, we will be changing some of this shape. So we want to make sure we're drawing lightly because some of these lines we might be erasing. But I just want to start with a nice big circle on the left side of my paper. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to draw a smaller circle right underneath it. So if I were to imagine drawing a line down the middle of this first circle I made, and then if it just kind of kept going out of that circle, almost like a lollipop with a really short stick. Again, at the end of this circle, or at the end of this line, I'm going to draw a smaller circle. Again, don't worry about getting it perfectly round because we are going to be changing a lot of this shape. Now, so this is going to be the start of my horse's head. Doesn't really look like that yet. So let's do a few more things. One of the first things I'm going to do is I'm going to take the sides of my smaller circle and I want to connect them up to the sides of my larger circle. So to do that, I'm going to make some lines that are going to curve out. And to kind of, so you'll notice my line is kind of curving a little bit to come out to the side of my larger circle. All right. One of the next things I'm going to do is I want to change kind of the bottom of this circle and make it a little bit flatter. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take these lines, these two ends of these sideways lines, and I'm going to bring them down towards the bottom of my circle, and I'm going to kind of flatten out the bottom of this shape. And at this point, what I can do is I can use my eraser and I can erase the little bit of this bottom circle that I don't really need anymore. One thing I am gonna do though, right here towards the bottom of what will be, I guess, our horse's snout, is I'm gonna make some upside down number 6s. So this first one's gonna look like an upside down number 6. The one I do on the left side is gonna look like, well, I guess it's more like a number 9. It'll be like a backwards number 9. And this will be for my horse's nose or nostrils. So I will color the circles in. And then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna make a little curve line just to make where the stem of that number 9 is a little bit thicker. There. I'm also going to do 2 light lines to help define the side of my horse's face, or and they're almost like it's floating a little bit above the nose, and just kind of going straight up. And what we can also do is I'm going to erase this little line here. I'm also going to put a little curve line right here, right almost separating the nose from our horse's face. All right, the next thing is let's give our horse some ears. So to do that, we're gonna come up towards the top of our larger circle. We're gonna do one on the left, one on the right. So to do that, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna, kind of like I'm drawing a large lowercase letter R. It's gonna come up and it's gonna come over just a little bit. Once I get that point, I want to bring my line back down into the top of my horse's head. Again, I'm going to do that on the other side too, except this time my line is going in the opposite direction. But again, I just want to bring that back down to the top of my horse's head. All right, next I left this line here for a reason, the bottom of our circle. That's because this is gonna help us draw our horse's eyes. So almost right above it, almost right where this sideline is touching this bottom part of the circle, right about there, I'm gonna draw a little curved line that's gonna come in towards the middle of my horse's head. You'll notice it's almost sitting right above this little line we drew before. I'm gonna do the same thing on the other side. Now underneath this line we just drew, we're gonna draw a large circle for our horse's eyes. Do one on the left, one on the right. All right, and then we're gonna change this bottom line now. So I can wait till later to erase it, or I can very carefully do it right now. But I'm also gonna put kind of this same line that I put above the horse's eye. I'm gonna put below it now too. Horses have a very similar shape of their eyes to humans. But the coloring inside is a little different. They're much darker. So what we're gonna do is we're just gonna put a tiny little half moon shape inside of our horse's eye. So eventually we will go to color in our horse's eye black, but we'll leave that little half moon shape white to be the highlight, or where the light is kind of shining in our horse's eye. All right, next, let's give our horse some hair on their head. So the way I like to do that is I'm gonna come up here. So I kind of still have the middle line from where I cut that big circle in half earlier. Right about there, where we have our middle line, I'm gonna come to the right of it. So not right on the middle, but just to the right of the middle, I'm gonna make a shape that's gonna look like a backwards letter C. So it's gonna come down and it's gonna go over to the left side of our head. So let's bring this line over. And I'm gonna bring this past the side of my horse's head. And then let's bring it up. Let's give our horse another little spike. And then I like to do one behind the ear. So I'm gonna come not right at the bottom of the ear, but about halfway. I'm just gonna do a little sideways triangle, and almost like the top of it is going through the ear and coming out on the other side. I'm just gonna connect that back to my original letter C. Afterwards, I can then erase this little bit of our circle, or the side of our horse's head that is technically behind the hair. So I want to make that a little bit longer. This one too. Let's make it puff a little bit more. Yeah, I like that a little more. All right, let's keep going. So the next thing we're gonna do is towards kind of the middle of our horse's head, we're gonna start to make a line that's going to curve down. Now this line is going to curve down, but then it's gonna start to curve back up. Actually, I think I made that a little too steep, meaning my line was going too far down. I don't want it to go that far down. You just want a little curve. That's a little better. But it's gonna start to come back up. All right, now on the bottom, so now closer towards where my horse's nose is, I'm gonna make another line. Now this one's gonna curve kind of in the opposite direction. So this one's gonna curve down. But I'm gonna loop it around, almost like I'm making the bottom of a circle. I want to, as it starts to come back up, I'm gonna bring it out and start to bring it back down. So it's kind of like a really weird upside down letter N or letter U that's been stretched out. All right, let's keep going. So now let's come back up to the end of this top line for our horse's body. What we want to do is we want to make kind of a large oval shape right here where my pointer finger is. So I'm going to start that oval up here where this line is ending, and I want it, again, to be right about where my pointer finger is. So let's bring this line out. We're going to bring it down, again, like we're making a big, nice, big oval. You'll notice it goes past this line. That's okay. Let's just bring it right back up, just like that. Okay, next, let's work on, well, no, let's finish this back leg first. So now right here, towards the front bottom of this back leg we drew, what we're going to do is we're going to take this curve and we're going to keep bringing it out. Now once this line starts to line up with the very back of our horse, we're going to change directions. Now I'm going to curve this line back down. Horses' back legs have a very weird kind of shape to them. It's not like what we would normally expect from an animal's leg. But I'm just going to kind of bring it down. Let's bring it over for now. This is not going to be our hoof. We are going to do a little bit more. And then let's just bring this line up for now. We're going to curve it around this kind of corner we made. And let's bring this now, we're going to curve it back up into the back side of our horse's leg. All right. Now let's work on our front leg for, at least for this front side of our horse. So again, so right about here where I have this first big kind of lump or U shape, I guess. Right about here, right in the middle, we're gonna make an even smaller one. So you'll notice I'm making kind of another letter U that's sitting almost in between, in the middle of the larger U shape I have, if that makes sense. From here, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna make another leg that's gonna come almost straight down. It's gonna come down to right about where our bend is in the back leg we drew. Then we're just gonna bring it forward just a little bit. So you'll notice the angle changes just a little bit. But so now here's the tricky part, is we need to bring the side of our leg from the side of our U down and meet all the way down here, almost like it's very similar to this leg. So I'm gonna bring these lines, you'll notice these lines are coming in towards the middle, but I'm not gonna have them touch. Instead, I'm almost like I'm making a bubble around this middle line I drew. I'm just gonna bring them right around it. And again, I'll just make a little line to connect them at the bottom. Now what we can do is we can do a little erasing. I'm gonna leave the sides of the letter U, but I'm gonna erase the middle part. I'm also gonna erase a little bit of the bottom of this oval shape we drew over here. All right, we're almost there. So next, let's give our horse their legs on the other side. So you'll notice I have this kind of U shape where this first leg is starting. And I have this second U shape, the first one we drew, that's almost now going behind it. What I want to do is I want to make it a little bit larger. So again, kind of pretending this is going through the leg because it's going behind it. I'm just going to bring this up just a little bit. And I'm just going to curve it back into where we made our neck before. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw a shape that's going to be very similar to this very first leg, but we're not going to see all of it. Because this leg is on the other side, we're not going to see this U shape. So instead, I'm just going to start towards the front of, like right here, where towards the front of that new U shape I just made. And again, just like I made this leg, I'm going to start with bringing the leg kind of down or backwards a little bit. And then once it gets right about lining up with the joints of the other two legs, we'll start to bring it towards the front. Again, we'll make a straight line going across at the bottom. And we'll bring this one back up. Now, part of this leg might get hidden behind your front leg, and that's okay. All right, now let's do kind of what we did for this front leg over here for our other back leg. So kind of what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a line very similar to this curve, but I'm going to make it right here, right next to it. So almost like I'm making one right next to it, but you'll notice this one's not inside the body. This one, because it's on the other side of our horse, we won't see all of it. Now you'll notice this isn't going all the way. So I'm just going to stop it a little bit early because this leg is further away from us. And let's, again, just kind of bring it down. But again, this leg is further away from us, so we don't want it to go as far down as the other legs. Oops, we got to fix our third leg. So let's just bring this one back up. And again, this one's going to be kind of hidden behind our first leg. And we actually need to change the height of this one. I made a mistake because, again, this foot is further away from us because it's on the other side of the horse. Isn't going to be going down as far as the other legs. The first two legs we draw should be the ones that go the furthest. All right, we're almost there. This part is optional. I like to give my horse a little more of a mane on the back of their neck. So what I'm going to do is, first I want to kind of change this line a little bit. But right here, I'm just going to kind of coming out the side of the head a little bit. I'm going to make a little curve line that's almost following the shape of the neck. And when I get to lining up with the front legs, I'm just going to curve it down. And I'm just going to bring it right back over. Let's give it one more spike. And into the side of our head. We can then also, again, erase this line because we don't need it. I also want to give my horse a tail. So right here, right kind of at the very top of that first back leg we drew, I'm going to make a line that's going to come up and it's going to curve over, almost like it's a very tiny letter R. But let's bring it over. I'm going to bring it down and I'm just going to curve it out. I want to give it 2 spikes. 1, 2. Actually, let's do a third one. And I'm just going to bring this line, curve this line now back into kind of the back side of my horse's leg. All right, the last thing we're going to do is let's give some little hooves to our horse. So to do that, let's come back to the bottom of our legs where we have that straight line going across. What we're going to do is we're going to make a little trapezoid. So to do that, my line is going to come out, meaning it's going away from where the line is going in the opposite direction. And I'm just going to make a little flat line, straight line to connect it at the bottom. So again, with the trapezoid, it looks like a rectangle, but the bottom line is longer than the top side. I'm also going to make a little triangle to show that I'll color in black to show the direction of the hoof. But again, I want to do that same thing on all 4 legs. So again, my line should be going away from the bottom of my leg. And again, I'll do a little triangle for the hoof. You might notice that the triangles I'm doing on my hooves are on the left side. That's because my horse's face is on the left. He looks like he's walking to the left. The triangle should be towards the front of our horse's hoof. So the direction we want our horses facing should be the same direction that our triangles are on. But like that, we have a really basic horse. Now we're ready to do a little tracing, coloring, and erasing. If you'd like, you can pause the video here at home to match the same colors, but you do not have to.
I hope you guys all had fun learning how to draw a horse with me today. I hope you guys stay safe. I hope you keep drawing, and I'll see you next time.